Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of Digital Hobbit's RPG Reflections. I know many RPG players have been exploring various options for simulating the GM role. Some groups simply struggle to find someone that's interested in GMing. Some players also enjoy solo play and use oracles in form of random tables or cards to play the GM role. Others turn to technology, including early experiments with generative AI tools such as ChatGPT. On the other end of the spectrum, there are GMs like myself that have huge backlogs of games we'd love to get to the table, or homebrew adventures and systems we want to playtest. This tends to be difficult given the challenge of finding interested players, resolving scheduling constraints, and so on. As a possible solution, many of us have mused about simulating players instead of GMs. So I figured, why not do both? By replacing both players and GMs with artificial intelligence, we successfully eliminate the human element, including all the scheduling constraints, differences in interest, and other challenges that come along with this. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate here. I will have OpenAI's ChatGPT play the role of both GM and player. I will facilitate the conversation by copying and pasting text from one to the other, and otherwise sit back, relax, and enjoy the game session without having to make difficult decisions of my own, perform dice rolls, track arrows and other resources on my character sheet, or all the other things that make RPGs so tedious. So, here we go. On the left-hand side, we have our ChatGPT window that's going to act as the GM. And then on the right, we have our player. So let's start by pasting in this prompt that I've prepared for the GM. I'm going to read it out real quick. You will play the role of Game Master for a tabletop RPG, and I will be the player. The game is set in a typical fantasy world and uses simple mechanics without stats that only require a single d20 for action resolution. Higher numbers are better. You will ask me what type of character I want to play and what their name is. After that, you will think of a simple, short, and action-oriented adventure, describe the starting situation to me, and ask me what I do. When I respond, you will describe what happens as a result. If necessary, you will ask me to roll a d20 and tell you the result, so you can use this to determine the outcome. We will keep going back and forth like that until the adventure is concluded. So, as always in my ChatGPT experiments, I'm being very explicit in how I want it to act, and this actually tends to work pretty well. So let's kick this one off. Great! What type of character do you want to play, and what is their name? Alright, off to a good start. Next, let's paste our player prompt into the other ChatGPT instance. This one says, you will play the role of player in a simple fantasy RPG that only uses a single d20 for action resolution and no stats. I will be the GM. Whenever I need your input, I will ask you. After that, I will describe what happens as a result. Do not assume any particular outcome by yourself. If the outcome is uncertain, I may ask you to roll a d20, and you will tell me the result of the roll. We will keep going back and forth until the adventure is concluded. And again, I'm being very explicit here. In particular, I have to tell it to not assume any particular outcome by itself. Otherwise, in some experiments, it just sort of describes what it does and narrates the outcome. And while I appreciate it taking the initiative, I want the GM to determine what happens or ask them to make a die roll perhaps. So let's see what happens here. Great! I'm excited to play the game. Let's get started. I'm going to now paste our GM's prompt into our player window and see if it comes up with a character. Okay, I would like to play a human rogue named Lyra. She is quick and nimble, with a talent for picking locks and pockets. This is actually funny. I've tried this a couple times, and every time, at least the last couple times, ChatGPT has decided to play a rogue. I can't blame it. I love rogues myself, so this seems like a solid choice. Let's see what our GM makes of this. Excellent choice. It agrees. Here is your adventure. You find yourself in the bustling marketplace of the city of Oakwood. surrounded by stalls selling exotic foods, fine fabrics, and shiny trinkets. As you make your way through the crowds, you notice a commotion up ahead. A group of merchants are shouting and pointing at a young man who is running away with a small bag in his hands. What do you do, Lyra? Okay, so let's see what Lyra does. I quickly survey the area to see if there are any guards or authorities nearby who might be able to handle the situation. If not, I will chase after the young man and try to catch him. Okay? As you scan the area, you notice that there are no guards nearby. You quickly make a decision and start chasing after the young man. He weaves in and out of the crowd, trying to lose you, but you are quick on your feet and keep up with him. Roll a d20 to see if you catch up with him. Excellent. We already get to our first die roll of the session. So let's see what Lyra does. I rolled a 13. Short and sweet, to the point. You manage to catch up to the young man, who is getting tired from all the running. You are now only a few feet away from him. What do you do next? I try to use my quick reflexes to grab the small bag from his hands and ask him why he was stealing it. Okay. You make a quick grab for the small bag in his hands, using your nimble fingers to try and snatch it away. Roll a d20 to see if you are successful. Alright, so he's not gonna let Lyra get away with it without, making a skill check here. So let's see what happens. I rolled a 17. Sounds like a pretty good result. Let's see. Your quick reflexes and deft fingers allow you to expertly grab the bag from the young man's hands. As you hold onto the bag, you ask him why he was stealing it. The young man looks at you nervously and says, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal it. It's just that I owe some money to some bad people, and they said they would hurt me if I didn't bring them back something valuable." What do you do next, Lyra? Ooh, things are heating up here. I listen to the young man's story and ask him who the bad people are and where I can find them. If he seems genuinely scared and in danger, I might consider helping him out. That's nice of Lyra. You gotta love an honest rogue. I can appreciate that. The young man seems genuinely scared and in danger, and he tells you that the bad people are a group of thugs who operate in the abandoned warehouse on the edge of town. He offers to lead you there if you help him out. What do you do, Lyra? I have a feeling I know what Lyra's gonna do, but let's confirm that. I agree to help the young man out and follow him to the abandoned warehouses. However, I keep a close eye on him, just in case he tries to run away or betray me. As we approach the warehouses, I scan the area to see if there are any guards or traps that we need to be aware of. Alright, she's definitely smart. As you follow the young man to the abandoned warehouses, you keep a close eye on him, ready to react if he tries anything funny. You also scan the area for any signs of danger and notice that the warehouses are poorly maintained and have many broken windows and holes in the walls. Roll a d20 to see if you spot any guards or traps. Okay, another die roll. So let's see if Lyra spots anything. I rolled a 10. Okay, so kind of middle of the road. By the way, I probably could have tried a more sophisticated mechanic, but I figured let's keep things simple and not have it trip up on details like that, right? We'll just need a simple randomizer here to inform how the story proceeds. I rolled a 10. As you approach the warehouses, you don't see any guards or traps, but you do notice a group of rough-looking men hanging around one of the entrances. The young man tells you that those are the people who are after him. What do you do, Lyra? Okay, what is she gonna do? Is she gonna confront them? Is she gonna try to find a secret entrance? Let's see. I try to sneak around the group of men and find another entrance to the warehouses. If that's not possible, I will try to talk to the men and see if I can reason with them or bluff my way past them. Let's see if our GM is nice. Ah, no, he's not. You try to sneak around the group of men, but one of them spots you and calls out, "Hey, what are you doing here?" You could try to talk to them and bluff your way past them, or you could try to fight your way through. What do you do, Lyra? Nice to get some options. I try to bluff my way past them by saying that I was sent by their boss to bring the young man to them. Oh, that's pretty smart, actually. I tell them that the boss heard about the young man's dead and wants to offer him a deal. If they don't believe me, I try to use my fast-talking skills to convince them that I'm telling the truth. Okay, now we have a little bit of a trip up here. Now our player says, roll a d20 to see if they believe your bluff. This is something that I would expect the GM to say. So, okay, bad ChatGPT, but I'm gonna just ignore this for now and just paste this in and see if our GM can just keep things rolling. Oops, I missed the I, but I think it's still fine. Roll a d20 to see how well your bluff works. Okay, let's see if we can continue here. I rolled a 19. Okay, so your fast-talking skills and quick thinking help you convincingly lie to the group of rough-looking men. They are hesitant at first, but they eventually believe your story and let you and the young man through. As you enter the warehouse, you see that it's filled with crates and barrels, some of them broken open and spilled on the floor. You can hear the sounds of people talking and laughing coming from deeper inside the warehouse. What do you do next, Lyra? I try to stay hidden and scout the area to see if there are any other people or traps that we need to be aware of. If possible, I also try to listen in on the conversations to get a better sense of who we are dealing with and what their intentions are. Sneaky little rogue. You carefully move around the crates and barrels, trying to stay hidden as you scout the area. You see several groups of people scattered around the warehouse. Most of them are drinking and playing games, while a few others are guarding some of the doors. Roll a d20 to see if you can overhear any useful information. Alright. I rolled a 15. I feel like she rolls pretty high. I hope she's not cheating. As you listen in on the conversations, you hear some of the people talking about the debt that the young man owes and how they plan to make an example of him to scare off others who might try to steal from them. You also hear one of the guards talking about a hidden room in the back of the warehouse where the boss keeps all of his valuables. Aha, what do you do next, Lyra? Well, if she's a proper rogue, she's certainly gonna go for the valuables. But then again, she'll also have to deal with them and make sure that the boy comes out okay. So let's see. I quietly tell the young man that we need to find the hidden room in the back of the warehouse and retrieve the boss's valuables. I suggest that we do it quietly and quickly before the guards or the boss notice us. I also tell him that we need to be prepared to fight our way out if necessary, but that we should avoid violence if possible. If he agrees, we start moving towards the back of the warehouse, trying to avoid detection. By the way, I've generally found that ChatGPT prefers to be kind of a pacifist. It's taken quite a lot to actually get it to fight. The young man nods in agreement and follows you as you make your way towards the back of the warehouse. As you move closer to the hidden room, you notice that the guards are more vigilant and alert. Roll a d20 to see if you can avoid detection and reach the hidden room unnoticed. I rolled a 12. I don't think she's rolled a single result under 10, so I'm starting to get a little suspicious here. You and the young man move slowly and quietly towards the hidden room, trying your best to avoid detection. You manage to avoid the guards for the most part, but one of them catches a glimpse of you and raises the alarm. Suddenly, several groups of thugs start converging on your location, brandishing weapons and shouting threats. Roll a d20 to see if you can fight your way out of the warehouse. Okay, I think she's not going to be able to escape this confrontation, so let's see. I rolled a 16. She's definitely cheating. You and the young man quickly draw your weapons and prepare to fight your way out of the warehouse. Your quick reflexes and nimble movements allow you to dodge the attacks of the thugs and strike back with deadly precision. With each strike, you take down one of the thugs, quickly reducing their numbers. As you fight, you notice that the young man is holding his own and seems to be gaining confidence. After a few minutes of intense fighting, the last of the thugs falls to the ground, defeated. You and the young man stand victorious, but you know that you need to leave the warehouse quickly before more thugs arrive. What do you do next, Lyra? Okay. I quickly tell the young man to grab as much of the boss's valuables as he can and follow me. I lead him towards the nearest exit, keeping an eye out for any remaining thugs or traps. If we make it out of the warehouse safely, I suggest that we split the loot and part ways. However, I also warn him to be careful and stay out of trouble, as I doubt that the boss and his men will give up so easily. That seems wise. You and the young man quickly grab as much of the boss's valuables as you can carry and make your way towards the nearest exit. As you move through the warehouse, you see that most of the thugs are either unconscious or too injured to pursue you. You make it out of the warehouse safely and find a secluded spot where you can divide the loot. The young man thanks you for your help and promises to repay you someday. As you watch him disappear into the crowd, you can't help but feel a sense of satisfaction for a job well done. You know that there will be more adventures and challenges waiting for you in the future, but for now, you savor the moment of triumph. And with that, I think we can conclude our little adventure here. Seems like we've brought it to a happy ending. Yeah, let's wrap up. So, obviously, this was an April Fool's joke. As much as I love technology and am very excited about generative AI such as ChatGPT, role-playing is very much a social hobby for me, and I wouldn't want to miss the human element. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tongue-in-cheek experiment. I also realize I've been talking a lot about AI recently, so I promise I'll focus on something different in my next video. As always, please feel free to leave a comment, and likes and subscribes are always appreciated as well. See you next time!